What's up, everyone? Welcome to Power Play with CJ. Today we're going to focus in on Sidney Crosby undergoing wrist surgery, and was that what kept him down in the NHL playoffs? I mean, his playoff numbers were abysmal. They have been, in the last 2 years. We'll get to that in 1 second. But he's your league MVP. He's without question the best player in the game. I mean, with all the talk, and I know people hate that I talk about other sports in this, but LeBron James is the best player in the NBA, and I think it's by a long shot, all due respect to Kevin Durant. And I think it's even a wider gap between Sidney Crosby and the best players in the NHL. I mean, all due respect to Ryan Getzlaf and, even his teammate Evgeny Malkin, guys like that. But he, he's amazing. He is better than everyone else in the league. It's just that simple. There's no other way to say it. You got to acknowledge greatness. Just tip your hat and say he's damn good at the game of ice hockey. And I think there wasn't one particular thing that hurt his wrist. According to the report, ESPN.com, my source, Chris Broussard faced multiple sources, multi, yeah, impeded his performance in the postseason, and he went through physical therapy, didn't work, and you got to cut it open, and it's gonna happen next week. I think it's probably the best choice for him. If you read my piece for Rand Sports, and you probably didn't, I talked about Kyle Clifford of the Kings undergoing wrist surgery, and I'm not comparing surgeries because you think about the complexity of the human wrist. There could be two different injuries in the same thing. It's just classified a wrist injury, but if there's one body position, one place in your body you should be cautious of with a hockey player, it's your wrist. Every single thing you do relies upon it. It's just that simple. You need it to shoot the puck. You need to hold your goddamn stick. And you look at Crosby's playoff numbers. He wasn't that great against either Columbus or the New York Rangers. I mean, they barely squeaked past Columbus, and then when push came to shove against the Rangers, he wasn't there. And I'm a Crosby fan. Again, as I sound like total like bandwagon and everything. I love greatness. That's why the aforementioned LeBron James, one of my favorite players in any sport, because he's great to watch. He's amazing to watch, and you know Crosby's the only NHL player that hit 100 points this year. I'm not even going to try locating a time frame on when he actually could have hurt his wrist. 9 points in 13 playoff games, one goddamn goal. Not from the best player in the game, and this was the only time he was ever under a point a game in the postseason in his career at any point. He is spectacular. He's awesome, and I think he'll get it corrected. And if he has to miss time, I don't think Pittsburgh should be too concerned. I think Pittsburgh right now, if I had to pick, is a top 3-4 team in the East. Tampa, I've mentioned ad nauseum since all the transactions they made, is the number one team in the East. Then you look at Montreal, Boston, and then I guess obviously the Rangers in that mix, and the Penguins. If it takes getting Crosby healthy to have him good to go when the games really start to matter, I think that's what you got to do. And the pressure's on Jim Rutherford and the new Penguins coaching staff with Johnson and everything. Make a choice that to sacrifice games early in the season to ensure Crosby's 100% later on. I think it's not even up for debate. I think you look at you know the pluses and minuses. I think again, it's it's what's best for the team. But again, I could be wrong. Been wrong before, but I think this will correct things. And this is one thing with Crosby. That he's always hurt. And that's not a knock on him. You don't control that. It's like, oh my God, I'm gonna hurt myself right now. But when he's on his game, there's no one better. It's just that simple. But we'll see what happens. Mike Johnston and the aforementioned Jim Rutherford really going into an intriguing situation in their first years in Pittsburgh. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think Crosby will be fine though. He's again pretty good at playing this whole game of ice hockey. So that's all this episode of the Power Play with CJ, and stay tuned for episodes of the off season and beyond. Later, guys.